Hey, what's going on, guys? Benny Childs, founder of the Teach Me to Fish FX trading community, and I'm back with another video. In this video, we are going to do our mid-week market forecast. All right, take a look at the market and just kind of review where the market is right now. Okay, today is Thursday, March 17th. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into it. All right. Here on the 4-hour chart, we're looking at the Dixie, and the short-term institutional bias for this pair was short for the week. Let's take a look here. We can see that this has played out to the institutional bias here. The pairs don't always trade out to the institutional bias, but again, these are just short-term biases, not guaranteed direction. But we see that the market did open up, played around inside of the 4-hour supply that we had marked out, triggered us in, and is now into the initial trade that we were looking for. Excuse me. We are sitting inside of 4-hour demand. However, I think that based on price action, you can see the rejection wicks in here. We're probably going to trade through and remove that demand, possibly get a reaction off of this 4-hour demand, if not coming down here and taking out other 4-hour demand to fill in some inefficiencies or imbalances. Okay. All right, that's the Dixie. Aussie USD, I'm very proud of the forecast that we did on this particular pair, because it pretty much played out to the T for us. All right, the short-term institutional bias was an uptrend. All right, and we can see that the market opened up, came in, touched the equilibrium of the 4-hour demand zone, respected the zone pretty much to a T, and pushed up. Now, the only thing with this is I want to say around this zone right here, I had this set to move my stop loss to break even. I move my stop loss in the break even, and you guys see where this 4-hour candle right here opened, pushed up, and then pushed back down, taking me out of the trade, and I never got back in the trade. But nonetheless, hopefully this is working out for some of you guys. Okay. All right, pound USD. Okay, short-term institutional bias with this was consolidation. We were looking to see price to consolidate between these two 4-hour zones, supply and demand zones. Didn't quite work out that way. As far as the trade, if you were looking to trade off of this supply zone that we had set here, we see price opened up for the week, came down, touched inside of this institutional accumulation, and pushed up through this 4-hour zone. We're kind of getting a little bit of a reaction here on this 4-hour supply zone, but price will probably push through it. Like I said, guys, with the short-term institutional bias being consolidation, price will consolidate between ranges. However, you can always see a new range be created and price consolidate in between those. So that's why I always say just mark out your areas of interest and wait for your confirmation signal. Okay. But nonetheless, this pair has not moved a lot, if that makes sense. But we did have some high impact news back here that I believe that kind of gave pound USD the volume it needed to push through this 4-hour supply zone. But so we were looking for consolidation, and pretty much I'm going to take the drawings off so we can see this clearly. If we go to the week, this pair basically has been on the uptrend for the week. So short-term buys did not work out that great, but anyway, we trade zones and we wait for the confirmation to get in. All right, to lower our risk. All right, USD CAD short-term institutional bias was consolidation. Okay, and didn't quite work out that way. We see price opened up, removed this 4-hour supply, and tapped into the proximal line of this 4-hour supply and began pushing down. Okay, remove this 4-hour demand. We are sitting inside of institutional accumulation. All right, we are sitting at the equilibrium for the institutional accumulation. However, we do see where this price broke through this 4-hour demand and gave us a turncoat trade. All right, if you trade order blocks, this would be considered a breaker block type trade. Okay, traditional supply and demand traders, we typically called it a turncoat zone, but it broke through. Price came back to the 50% equilibrium of that 4-hour turncoat zone. Okay, let me see if I have a preset. I don't have a preset for that, but my turncoats I typically would do like an orange or a yellow type deal. Let's see. Do something like that, and let's go ahead and do this now. 0.3. All right. So had that rejection. It's moving kind of slow off of it, but probably can take this trade coming down. We might can. This is definitely, hindsight on this one, because we just kind of just doing a quick little market recap. But this is how, I would take this trade if I was sitting in it, shooting for that 4-to-1. Let's see if it's going to hit the equilibrium just before the equilibrium on that one. So that may be a good one. All right, maybe I don't know if someone else saw that. I didn't see it, didn't trade it, but that's essentially how you would be taking that trade. Okay. All right. As a matter of fact, let's update these. Take that out. I'll just kind of leave that, and I'll update these charts later for the upcoming weekly forecast. All right, moving on to Euro USD. Euro USD short-term institutional bias was consolidation. We can see where price opened up, came down into this 4-hour demand zone, tapped into our equilibrium, all right, and has pushed up. Not a lot of high volume. It's kind of been tapped into this 4-hour supply right here, okay, but it was previously mitigated, so I did not have that one marked, but we can see where, let's take this off. All right, we can see where price has come down and is currently kind of ranging in between this supply and demand zone right here. All right, let's take these off so we can see this better. All right, we can see that it opened up here and has actually been pushing up. Okay, so like I said, with these consolidations, you don't know if it's going to range in between those two zones, if it's going to create new zones to range in between, and obviously here, if it's going to actually start trending. So you can see where price has did open up and has been trending up. It's currently into this 4-hour supply zone. Okay, all right, so let's move right along. USDJPY, USDJPY. Let's take these off and see what the weekly has been doing. The short-term institutional bias for this was short, but we can see that this has been ranging to the upside. Okay, so let's see, 4-hour, come back, let's see where we are. We are sitting inside of institutional distribution. Let's see if we have. All right, so it looks like we have a 4-hour unmitigated zone to the upside right here. Okay, price could be going towards. Let's see, we got that. Okay, so this is actually a stacked, two stacked institutional supply zones or distribution zones. We can see where USDJPY has just been shooting up, has not come back to any demand zones to take trades off of. We have had the creation of this demand zone. All right, price hasn't really come back to it to trade off of. We're sitting inside of, we've actually broken this institutional distribution. Let's take that off. Okay, we've pushed through it. All right, so maybe we may see price push up to this 4-hour. Maybe we can look for a 4-to-1 trade there. We may see price come back down to this 4-hour zone, okay, and push up any of these because we definitely have imbalance here. Okay, just no contested. Like the buying has not been contested here. The buying was not contested here. And then we actually have gaps, like candlestick gaps here. That needs to be filled. That could act as a magnet for price to come down to fill, and maybe take a trade off of any of these demand zones. All right, but we have pushed up into this institutional distribution, and we may see price come into that 50% equilibrium and bail off. Okay, or it may come to this 4-hour unmitigated zone and bail off, or we can just get a lot of selling pressure from any of these news events to push through this institutional distribution zone. Okay, price can do several things, but you guys know us. We typically draw our areas of interest. That's all supply and demand is, and we wait for a confirmation and we take the trade respectively. So, all right, USD JPY has been shooting up so far. All right, USD Swiss, short-term institutional bias for this was bearish. However, this pair has been going up for the week. All right, pushing up for the week. Okay, let's go here. Now we can see everything a little bit better. Okay, it's been pushing up, removing 4-hour supply. Gave us a nice respecting of this 4-hour supply, as well as respecting the equilibrium of this institutional distribution. All right, so maybe this is where we're going to see the turnaround. All right, the complete turnaround here, to see price respect the short-term institutional bias of being bearish. All right, so price did not come into this demand zone. However, it has created more for our demand. Okay, for the most part, has been respecting this. We saw mitigation of orders here. Okay, pushed up, mitigated some orders here, and it's kind of ranging in between these two supply and demand zones, all the while sitting inside of institutional distribution. So yeah, I would probably be looking to take trades to the downside if and only if we can get a 4-hour supply created, and or the removal of this 4-hour demand, and possibly coming down and taking, again, what we like to call a turncoat trade off of the 50% equilibrium, and maybe be able to target this 4-hour candle imbalance right here. Okay, but we just have to wait and see how price plays out. All right, USD Mexican peso, short-term institutional bias for this was short. Let's see if that's played out for us this week. All right, so this is played out for us to the T as far as the short-term institutional bias for the week. Okay, price opened up, kind of played around our entry point. All right, around the equilibrium of this 4-hour supply. Kind of sold off, and looks like it may come into allowing us to take profit at the filling of this imbalance. Let's see if we can show that. Did I tap it? I don't think I did. I did. Computer's just moving slow. So we do have 4-hour imbalance right there. Or maybe it got changed somehow. There we go. Alright. Alright. So maybe we'll see it fill that. It has already taken out this 4-hour demand. We can see right here. 4-hour demand taken out. Push back into the equilibrium. This is basically a turncoat. Okay, maybe it'll push down to continue to fill that imbalance, and maybe even go a little further into this 4-hour demands equilibrium. All right, and maybe we can take a trade going to the upside. Okay. But that one is played out to the bias. All right, NZD USD, short-term institutional bias was long. And guys, I'm just removing the drawing so we can just see the progression of the week better. All right, so we do see where this played out. Okay, we can see where it opened up, pulled down, and it's currently a bullish week. Okay, let's see how this kind of played out. Price came down, pushed down through our demand here. Did give a turncoat trade. Okay, let's remove this. And I'm just wondering if it gave us our four to one. So it probably would have been something like this. And I want to say, yeah, we did get a 4 to 1 turncoat. Yep. So if you're monitoring this, you could have got 4 to 1 turncoat on this one before price turned around. It really did not turn around. Well, it did. It wasn't an unmitigated 4-hour zone, but it was previously mitigated. I'm going to draw this out here for you guys so you can see. Okay, you guys can see where this zone was already mitigated, so that's why I did not draw it out. But I told you guys before, just because a zone has been mitigated does not mean that it will not come back and be mitigated again, because it could have some orders that are still sitting there, okay, that need to be picked up or need to be filled, okay. And so in this case, price did leave out and tapped into the proximal line of this 4-hour demand and pushed up, and it came back to fill more orders, and that's why we have that bullish price action this week on the NZD USD. Like I said, it did take out this 4-hour demand zone, kind of gave us a turncoat trade. Again, came down to mitigate or fill some orders again within this 4-hour zone and pushed up into this 4-hour demand. And it looks like maybe able to take a sell off of this, maybe to close the week out on NZD USD. But yep, just gotta wait for price action. All right, Bitcoin short-term institutional bias was long. Let's see how the week played out. Okay, this is a bullish week, so that played out to the bias. Okay, let's see how it played out. It did not come down as far as we wanted it to. Did not completely fill the gap just yet, but it looks like it played off of this 4-hour previously mitigated zone right here. Let's take this one out. Okay, it played off of this one again to the T at our equilibrium here, and it has pushed up into institutional distribution. All right, so we may see it come back and mitigate this zone or take this zone out and actually give us our 4-hour demand trade right here. Okay, actually see this one come back, fill this candle gap, mitigate or fill some orders, and then push up to give us that 4-to-1 that we were initially looking for. Okay, not a lot of volume to come in to push it far enough to the downside to realize the this buy trade. Not yet, but again, sometimes these things, they just take time to develop. If they're gonna work out, sometimes they don't work out. So, but again, just it's a part of trading. That's why we always wait for confirmation. All right, let's take a look at gold. Short-term institutional bias for this was long. Let's take those drawings off so we can see. Gold did not play out so well to the short-term institutional bias. It dropped. All right, let's see. It dropped and actually came down into this institutional accumulation, taking out this 4-hour demand as well as this 4-hour demand. Kind of played this as a little bit of a turncoat right here. Okay, but it tapped into the proximal of this institutional accumulation and has started pushing up. So Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, prices push down, and probably Thursday, Friday, Monday is where we'll see that short-term institutional bias come into play, back into this institutional distribution zone right here. Okay, so we'll come back and see how it looks on Sunday. Okay, same thing with silver, pretty much played out the same way. Let's remove these drawings so we can see the weekly better. All right, short-term institutional bias was long, however it has come short. Okay, or it's been bearish. Came down, has not actually tapped the 4-hour here. Did kind of give us a little bit of a turncoat trade. The equilibrium was not tapped, but the proximal was tapped, and kind of gave us a turncoat trade there. But we have not removed that demand zone. And let's see, this demand zone had been removed as well. We may come up and get a turncoat here, or we may go ahead and push up. Sorry guys, it's like 3 in the morning right now while I'm recording this, so but it may push up, okay, and give us a turncoat trade off of off of this one. Yeah, pretty much it for silver. I really don't see it tapping into anything right now. So we just kind of have to wait for price action to play out. Okay. U.S. oil short-term institutional buys for this was short. Let's take a look at the weekly. All right, this is played out for us to the T. You actually see where it opened and it did not play around up here and it shot straight down. Let's take a look here on the 4-hour. Let's see if it actually like gave us any trades. No, we were looking for it to push up into here and take a trade down. Price opened up and just kind of just pushed down. It played off of this. It created this turncoat zone. Okay, it did not tap into the equilibrium. All right, that I'm always really looking for, but it did tap into the proximal and gave us a turncoat trade down, which I'm sure 4-1 was hit. All right, so that would have been that. Okay, so 4-1 was not hit because 4-1 would have been way down here. So it was not hit yet. Was not hit yet because it can definitely come down and remove these demand zones and tap into this demand zone and push up, but giving us the target. But nonetheless, the short-term institutional buy for this did play out to the T. However, prices come down into this 4-hour, kind of gave us some market manipulation here, creating a new 4-hour zone, pushed out, tapped in, and now it's pushing back up, tapping the proximal of this institutional accumulation right here. So we could see maybe a trade into this 4-hour supply here. That was created. Okay, we may see a trade up into here and maybe another push down for U.S. oil. Definitely here in America, we want those oil prices to come down. All right, so gas can come back down, but we did see that this push down as well. I should have predicted the future maybe about gas prices coming down, but hey, it is what it is. All right, so again, we're kind of getting this play. This was actually taken out, all right, and pretty much has been mitigated. And we have this new 4-hour demand. That price is kind of created, left, came back, mitigated the equilibrium, right, and is now pushed up. Okay, so we may get a push up to again fill in this candle gap right here. Excuse me, fill that in, and we may get a 4-hour supply sell trade off of it. All right, my baby. This is big right here for me. S&P X 500 versus the USD dollar. All right, so the short-term institutional bias for this was consolidation. However, we have seen this pair push up to the upside. All right, kind of found a little bit of a bottom. All right, but only time will tell if this has actually been a bottom for the S&P 500. We are kind of getting a little bit of a engulfing pattern here on the weekly, but we still have the rest of today and tomorrow, so we'll see. We will see. All right, So let's see what price has done. Price came in, it's taken out this 4-hour demand, respected the proximal of this 4-hour demand, pushed up through this 4-hour supply, is currently sitting inside of an institutional distribution zone. Okay, we may see it come up into this 4-hour supply and push down, and we may get this consolidation between this institutional distribution and this institutional accumulation zone here. But this has been a nice trade to the upside, creating some nice demand. This 4-hour demand was created here and respected, tapped into our 4-hour equilibrium, and just kind of pushed up on this 4-hour trade here. So we'll see how this continues to play out. We may get, like I said, we may consolidate from here on out, until sometime next week. We'll see what the institutional bias is come Sunday. But on the onset, S&P 500 has been pushing up, which is great for our long-term investing, right? So, all right, guys, that is going to be it for me. Today is Thursday. There is still opportunity for trades to be taken. Price sitting inside of demand and supply zones where we could, take some trades, take some counter trend trades, take some with the trend trades. There is still opportunity to make pips today and tomorrow, or catch pips today and tomorrow. But we just have to, like I said, several of the pairs are sitting inside of zones. We can see if we get our confirmation signals and, take some trades. Maybe those trades will pan out to be 4-to-1 risk reward trades, or, we may have to close prematurely before the market closes on Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, all right, guys, I hope that this midweek market review has been helpful, insightful, and educational for you guys. Please feel free to comment down below. Like the video if you like the video. Dislike it if you dislike it. Subscribe if you are not a subscriber. All right, guys, until then, always remember, if you stay in God, you will stay in control. And until next time, happy pip fishing, and always wait for confirmation. All right, I'm going back to bed. Bye-bye.